One more time. We back again, family. Okay, we got a show coming up tonight. You know, I'm by myself. Miss Iman Amir won't be in on actually Monday and Wednesday. She's gonna be doing some different things. She got some stuff going on in her career, so I think she's going to not be with us on Monday and Wednesday. So we're gonna change the show up a little bit from the Next Generation Conversations. We're gonna go back to the Clipper Dome Chronicles. So tonight I want to have my monologue tonight. I was thinking about this is probably going to be the next show. Okay. A lot of times we taking calls, you know, I'm talking to people, the brothers calling, we having meetings during the week. The ladies are calling. So we trying to figure out how can we make it bridge this gap in the disconnect in our relationships? How can we get the other side to understand the specifics, not the generalities of the opposite sex? How can we get the women to understand what the man is saying? And we can, because we know that the communication is lost in translation, and get the men to understand the women and the women to understand the men, so we can stop losing that translation and communication. So we really want to try and plug into um, how when will we get it. We want to imagine a mathematical problem. So we all know in mathematics we can have a lot of numbers and signs. Okay, each step in that mathematical equation, we need to make sure each one of those steps are done properly. If we need to change the sign from negative to positive, if we need to change a fraction to a whole number, if we need to solve for x, whatever those steps are, whatever we need to do, we do understand that if we get any one of those steps wrong, then our sum, the answer, is going to always come out incorrect. It's the same thing in our relationships. So what we want to try to do is we want to try to go to this point in this place on the next show. So we want to start trying to break it down to where we can understand one another, because it's like a mathematical equation. There are times in our lives, like say in our 20s. In our 20s, we make a lot of mistakes. We do a lot of we're on a learning curve, but they tell us that we're adults, and you are an adult, but that doesn't make you mature, and that does not make you grown, that does not make you settled. You are learning life. So we really need to be careful, because a lot of times we start having children, we can get married at this point. So we want to be careful about engaging the opposite sex while we're in training, because the person, if you are in your 40s and 50s today, you know you don't think the same way in your 40s and 50s as you did in your 20s. That doesn't mean that in your 20s that you're in trouble. It just means be very, very careful and be very selective with the person who you're going to be dealing with. So when we're doing that mathematical equation, we want to make sure that we have both sides equal, because we know in some math problems, when you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other side. So let's just say if we're talking about maybe a positive and a negative. So we have a positive 100 and a negative 100. So if you want to balance that out, what you do to one side, you have to do it to the other side so that they can become equal. So when we are doing that in our relationships, we want to make sure that if it's happening on one side, it's an equal balanced reaction on the other side. So we don't just want one person taken, okay, and given to the other person, okay. So if you taking from the left and giving to the right, but nothing's coming back from the right being given to the left, that's not reciprocation. Reciprocation is a circle. It's like a cycle. So you want to always be going in a circle, in a cycle in your relationship. You don't ever want to be coming from the left and giving to the right. Keep giving, coming from the left and giving to the right. You want that to be a reciprocal process. You don't ever want it to be one-sided, because that's not balanced. So in this the next piece that we're trying to do, we want to make sure that we have these necessary steps put down, and make sure it's in order. So that's just the monologue for the day. Try to set up the show for next for Wednesday show. Excuse me. Okay, so now you know we do have the piece coming. We do have the sheriff department lined up. We have the green light. We going through the necessary channels to try to get the process put in place so we can roll pretty smoothly. Those will all be broadcasted here on the YouTube Clipper Dome Chronicles page. So you'll get to see what's going on. So what we want to do because we want to highlight those brothers. We want to show the positive side because we know the negativity. We all know the bad parts about the incarceration process. We know how most people get there. We know the ways and the wiles of the world. So what we want to try to do is the Clipper Dome Chronicles is going to come in, and we want to try to give some tools and some resources. We want to have some networking skills. We want to have some entrepreneurial skills put in. So I'm going to bring in business owners that can sit down and talk to the brothers about if they want to maybe become an accountant, maybe get off into HVAC, maybe do some transportation, maybe they want to be a barber, maybe they want to go to a technical school and get a trade. So we're going to have different people with different professions that's going to come in and speak to the brothers so that we can try to show the positive outcome, the other side. So once they get this strike against them, a lot of times, even if it's just a misdemeanor, there are a lot of jobs that you cannot have. So how do we get the brothers to be able to re-enter the job market? How do we get those brothers the tools and the skills to be able to come back and touch their families and get with their kids so they can be productive providers? So we're going to try to go into the sheriff's department. We're going to try to see if we can get those brothers some skills. We want them to just be able to talk and breathe. Just let them unpack some of the problems that they might have, some things that they never really talked to somebody who cared first. First, you got to care. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If you don't care and you're not willing to help, then the knowledge is no good. So you need to connect that knowledge with an experience. So we have those brothers. We're going to go in there and we're going to try to talk to them. And we want to thank the Davidson County Sheriff's Department for watching our work, for appreciating what we do, for making that connection. Yeah, we definitely want to thank Mr. Hunter, Sheriff Hunter over there. He came out and we sat down and broke some bread, and we went over some specifics, and we got the green light. So we want to thank them for that and let them know that we are preparing, and we hope to see you guys soon. So I want y'all to look out for that here on the channel. We're going to be getting off into that real soon. So we got, so we'll be going back to the Clipper Dome Chronicles. That'll be every Wednesday, every Monday and Wednesday. We're going to go back to that because Iman, she has to take care of some things. She has to do what she has to do. We have a somebody that wanted to speak to us this evening. So we're going to have a caller calling in today. So we just waiting on them to give us a shout. So they'll be calling in real soon. We talked to them earlier. We're going into my wife and I, we trying to get off into getting people prepared for marriage. Okay. So we want to try to get specific because there are a lot of people that are married today that have a piece of paper, but they don't have a marriage. When we say that, we're getting very specific. Now we're talking about maturity. We're not talking about standing in front of a preacher and saying that you're going before God. Before you get married, there are actual skills and tools that you need for the long haul. You're talking about giving somebody the rest of your entire life. So before you do that, we want to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be, that you're as sound of a sound mind as you can be, hoping that you understand yourself to the highest level of your capability, so that when you engage with that next person, with that man or that woman. Okay, I think this is the caller here. Hold on one second, family. Hello, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm from Atlanta.
Oh, you're from Atlanta. Okay. Well, what's on your mind this evening? Go ahead and talk to us.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as relationships and men go, I have a few questions, but let me just start off with, so when a man is looking for a wife, what is it that they're looking for the woman to bring to the table, if anything?
Okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, so so what you would have to do first is we have to go to the YouTube Clipper Dome Chronicles page, video number 2, and find out what, from our research, what we call a man, because we're assuming that you have a man and this man is trying to find a wife. Okay, so let's be specific first. So for example, if the job requires a doctor of medicine, so of course you need a PhD in the medical profession, and then you can fulfill that requirement for that job. So if that's a man, he has to first fulfill that requirement before he finds a wife. Now, if we have a man and he is looking for a wife, some of the things he needs her to bring to the table is first, feminine energy is huge, man. Do you understand what a man means when he says feminine energy?
Why don't you break it down a little further for me?
But I tell you what, first tell me what you think it is, even if you don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm thinking someone who's independent yet soft
Okay.
and knows how to allow the man to lead, and to be able to, be able to stand in his masculinity without, feeling like she will take over.
Okay. Okay. So all right. So yeah, in general, we can go. So you got a firm grip on what it is, and specifically what he's looking for when he's trying to find a wife is he's trying to find that woman who complements his direct opposite. So in the universe, whatever your religion may be, we have the direct opposite of everything. So we have black and white, we have hot and cold, we have rich and poor, and we have male and female. So whatever he is, you want to be the direct opposite of that. That's in generally simply putting it. So if you want something strong and firm, he wants something soft and sweet. He wants you to use your nurturing. He wants you to use your caregiving. He wants you to use your support. And he wants you to give him respect. And a woman has to understand that she never, ever, ever has to raise her voice to her man because he's going to give you his power. That's what he's looking for. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so now that's just one piece on the feminine energy side. So then again, he's going to need your respect. Respect is high to a man. A man would rather have you respect him than to love him. I want women to make sure they understand that. Don't try to love your man. That's beautiful if you do. He will accept and he will take that. But what he cannot do without is your respect. So respect is going to be huge right after feminine energy when a man is looking to find a wife. Attitude. Your attitude is going to be very important because a lot of times my sisters, they can use that thing in their mouth called a pink tornado, which is their tongue, and they can destroy, defile, and tear up and just massacre a lot of things with that. So if you have to be careful because you have his power. So when you start wielding that pink tornado, you need to be very careful because you can destroy a lot of things just with the power of the tongue. So respect, attitude, and support. Supporting if you have a man, whatever his endeavors are. Hopefully he's trying to build something. He could have a 9 to 5 or 2 9 to 5s or own a business or two. Just make sure that y'all sit down together and y'all find out what that vision is. And once he puts that forth, you support that vision. So those are the top 3 things that a man is looking for when he's trying to find a wife. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good information. That's good information right there.
All right. Well, come on. Would you got something else, or you got another question? I'll be happy to help.
Well, I guess I could just kind of piggyback off of what you already said, but when it comes to finding a wife, for the man, like what are some absolute deal breakers that they're just not going to put up with? I know you mentioned one, respect.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So yeah, right. So there you go. You can piggyback off of those first 3, and you can put those in there. So I want to go to that. So a deal breaker is first for us is we're visual and we're physical. Okay, a man is going to be visual and he's going to be physical. Hence us playing football, baseball, basketball. When we wrestling or we fighting as kids, young fellas, we already coming physical. That's just our organic traits. So when we get the visual and the physical, as far as the woman is concerned, we're going to need her to be beautiful to our eye, not beautiful to the way that you think you should be, beautiful to the way that we think you should be. Okay. A lot of times my sisters, yes, a woman's definition of beauty is different from a man's definition of beauty. So what I do is I take sisters on field trips. So what I'll do is I'll have about 5 sisters and we'll go out. We'll go to the lounge if they want to go to a cigar bar, if they want to go to the Kroger, if they want to go to the church, wherever she is comfortable at or that group is comfortable at. I'll take them in there and I'll show them what men think in that environment versus what they see, because we see something different in the very same environment. because we have two different experiences and two different perspectives. So that field trip experience helps women unpack and break down what we think beauty is and what we think visual attractiveness is. If we can't get the first base with you, which is your beauty or your visual aesthetics, that's going to keep us from finding out if you're a virtuous woman. That's going to keep us from finding out if you're intelligent. That's going to keep us from finding out if you can cook. That's going to keep us from finding out if you can make us laugh, or if you can support us, or if you can be that helpmate that we need you to be. So being visual and physical are deal breakers off the top. Those are like that's like the first law of man right there. Deal breaker, being overly masculine. Today, we're running into this problem in droves because, again, I told you that the universal principle, it keeps the direct opposite of everything. So if you got two hots and two colds and two bigs and two smalls, right? And there's no opposites. You direct opposite to balance. So what my sisters are not understanding is no man want to lay down with another man. That's just not how we see that. Okay. And we're talking about people trying to get married in heterosexual relationships. That's what I've studied. So whatever else is going on, I don't study that. So I can't speak on things that I do not know. So when it comes to that heterosexual situation, the sister has to understand that the man is going to need that feminine energy. He's going to need her to be his direct opposite. Those are deal breakers. Those are huge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I grew up kind of like a tomboy, so it's not a big deal for me to go out there and clean the yard.
Gotcha.
Wash the cars and make sure and paint the house or whatever I would need to do. I enjoy those things, but I'm saying now that I might need to back up off and let him do those things. If I guess I want to keep him interested and engaging.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he would need to. He would need to feel like he's the man and not married to a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do
yes,
everything
ma'am.
he can do.
There you go. That's right. So so when you go into like the amusement park, you want to be entertained. When you go to the movies, you want to see a good show. If you go to a play, you want to see a good theater presentation, right? So when he finds a woman, he want to get exactly that. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's true.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good information right there.
There you go.
I guess that would kind of segue into another question I had.
Go ahead.
If that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so do men still want to be those, old school providers? They pay all the bills, I guess, quote unquote, bring home the bacon. Do men want to be those type of men for, women these days?
Absolutely. So this is going to be very simple. I just want you to tell me the first thing that hits your mind. I want you to finish this sentence for me, okay? It's very simple. Okay. The more things change,
the more they stay the same.
Absolutely, ma'am. So now, with that being said, when you say old school, we want to unpack it and we want to call that organic and call it organic and call it natural. It is our core nature to protect and provide for our woman. That's never going to get old. It's like the tree growing out the ground. That's never going to get old. The water being wet, flowing downhill. That's never going to get old. It's like the birds soaring above the trees. That's never going to get old. So for us, that's just who we are. And that's how we're made up. And that's if you're dealing with a man. It's so many different nuances going on now. With so many different lifestyles that we have going on. When it's a man, it's going to be clear and it's not going to be hard. You're going to know it when you see it, when you feel it, when you hear it, and it's going to gel for you. You will know. Yes, he still wants that. Definitely. And it's not old school. It's just organic. That's all it is. Natural. It's just organic. That's it. So the way we have a perception of something or the way we break something down, that'll dictate the direction that we take it. So if I say, you and I, we're going to get in a covered wagon and we're going to go to California, right? That's going to take us 3 weeks to a month. So, we're going to encounter, you know, bumps in the road. We gonna, gonna get hungry. We're going to find some food. We're gonna get cold. We're gonna be hot. We might get robbed. There's so many different things that can happen on that journey, right? In a month, right? So just because we decided to take that path with a covered wagon, that changes how we get to California. So let's say we had a private jet. So of course, on a private jet, if we go to California, it's going to take us about 2.5 hours because the private jet moves faster than the commercial jet, right? So the two same destinations have two totally different experiences. Okay. So that's based off of the mindset on how you're traveling to your destination, meaning how you unpack the perception of when you're dealing with a man and how you approach him. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, those are good questions you have though. Did you get these from off the internet or these personal? These personal ones, or did you get these off the internet or somewhere like that? It's good. They good.
No.
Okay, no, they good though. Those are. This is what sisters need to know. Seriously, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is. I'm sure there are plenty of other women just like myself, looking for a good organic, man.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm pretty sure we just don't know how to.
Right.
We need to change our perspective. We don't know what they are looking for.
That's right. That's right.
It definitely opened my eyes about a couple of things. I appreciate that.
No doubt. I'm glad I could be of help. I'll tell you what was one of the biggest trials and tribulations you had in your last relationship? If you would just give us something in general, something that's like a problem that you, reoccurring problem.
Reoccurring problem.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say communication. I'm saying one thing. I'm sure something else was heard.
But there you. So I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show. Did you hear the beginning of the show?
I didn't catch the.
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, and I'm glad you didn't, because when you go back and play it back, communication is lost in translation. What we do here at the Clipper Dome Chronicles is we try to bridge the gap between men and women in relationships. And because that communication is lost in translation, because we are direct opposites, if she want to stop, he want to go, and vice versa. If he want to go, she want to stop. And so we have to find a happy medium and try to respect. We don't have to like it, and we don't have to believe it, and we don't have to understand it. Sometimes we just have to respect that our partner want to do something different. Our wife, our spouse, our husband want to do something different. So that's the piece that we need to find out, how to connect to our partner. And that's where the communication gets lost in that translation, with that communication right there, that piece, that bridging that gap. Okay, so what I get a lot of times, what I did, I don't know if you've ever watched any of the channel or had any background with what I do. I interview women who are only blue collar, just a group of women separately. I interview women with only bachelor degrees separately. I interview women with only master degrees separately. Then I interview women with PhDs separately. And the same thing on the opposite side for the men. So then what I do is I extract the commonalities of all of those people from those different circles, from those different walks of life. And that's how I come up with my research. And then I get psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, life coaches, and we come up and take that data and turn them into statistics. That's where we come up with our percentages. So what I don't do is give my personal opinion. When I give you my personal opinion, then I will let you know, because I'm not that smart. I have seeked wise counsel. Okay. So this is not me telling you what I think. This is what the majority of the men and women are going to say to you in a given situation. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, that's good. You can back that up with.
Strong. It's audio and video. I can stop and press play and get out the way. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I can do that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah. So okay. I'm gonna tell you. I will help me with something. I have here in Nashville, we have an event space. We have a radio show. We have a meetup group online for relationships. We did promotions. We went out to different hair salons, barbershops. We went to different restaurants, anywhere, at the mall, anywhere we can get a listening ear. And then we threw an event. And what I do is something called the 10-Man Challenge. It's where 10 men will score a young lady. I will ask questions as if a man is in a relationship with her, and the 10 men will score her. So the men age from they go from age 25 to 65. So we like to have a diverse group of people so that we can show the woman where she's strong or where she needs to strengthen her ideology or her approach in relationships. So when we had this 10-man challenge, we had all these different promotions, and we had food and we had drinks, and we didn't have a lot of young ladies that showed up. Why do you think young ladies wouldn't come out for something like that? Why do you think?
Oh man. Well, just my personal opinion. Maybe they just weren't ready for the reality to it.
Okay. But the sisters want the truth, right?
Right. That is truth. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So what I did also, if you can, when we hang up today, if you can go to the Clipperdome Chronicles page, you can go to the Clipperdome manifestation. I had men. This was the commercial to the prelude for that event. So I had men in their suits, and we held a forum. We had a men's meeting, so the ladies could kind of see what we were working with. So we was eating good. We had the brothers in suits and ties, and none of the ladies showed up because they keep asking me, where are the men? Where are the men? Where are the men? So when I presented the men, I had 30 men at this event. I only had one woman because all the other women were with me.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, check that out, and I would appreciate you to call me back if you get a chance to see that commercial, the Clipperdome manifestation on the YouTube Clipperdome Chronicles page. I want to tell me what you think. Yeah, because I'm having some problems over here with my sisters. I'm presenting them what they're asking me for, and I'm struggling. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a problem. No, I'll sign up. 10 men, let's go.
No, I had 30. Yeah, 30 men were there. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, do that. Check that out. Okay, so hey, you got something else? Yeah. Anything else hitting you or?
Well, you hit on so many other things, but that communication thing is a big one for me.
Okay.
So I definitely need to dive into that a lot more. So, so I'm not speaking a language. Speaking of languages, that's a big one for me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole other show, to be honest with you.
There you go. So I'll tell you what. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I cut you quick. The love language. Yes, the love language. My daughter speaks on that all the time. We were talking about that about 3 days ago, as a matter of fact. Love languages. And if you don't read the book, you can go online and some stuff that you can look into if you don't know what yours is and kind of check that out. And then have that conversation with your spouse or your significant other. Yeah, husband and wife. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so I want to, on the communication thing though, I want to leave you with this one. So if communication is huge to you, and I don't want you to leave, I always like to give some tools and resources, if somebody's going to leave me. So if you had the best Japanese spokesperson known to man to ever walk the face of the earth, if you gave that Japanese spokesperson, that great speaker, a Spanish crowd, what do you think would happen? Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, sometimes no matter how well you speak it, it lands on deaf ears. So yeah, I wanted to leave you with that. And so if you want to close it out, I appreciate your call. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. All right, you take care. Okay. Hey, so we appreciate the call. I'm glad she called in, man. Those were some good questions. A lot of that stuff is some sisters that need to hear that. They need to know that. So we're gonna shut the show down right here. So we want y'all to take this. We want you to test this. We want you to try this. Take it to the barbershop or take it to the hair salon. Take it to the job or take it to the church. Remember, you don't have to like it, believe it, or understand it. Sometimes you just have to respect it. This is the Clipperdome Chronicles. Thank you.